Hi, I'm Catherine, the creator of She and the Jets and Community Preservation of the Promised Land. To all you ladies out there, can you please stop paying rent? Don't pay no more rent. Just stop paying rent because here's proof that the white people, the scholars and everybody is telling you that they are mutated creatures. They're not human. So they've been cloned over since, 1775 when they came over here. Before they came here, they were the what you call like the AI, what you call like AI, where they were the terminators against us. So they were the terminators. They were made, not born. So here's proof that you cannot pay no rent to creatures because you would stand as an abomination with them, because who are you to pay rent? You're being forced by creatures. They have to be removed, and they are being removed from office. This is why.
Our genomes have degenerated to such a degree that we are all mutants at this point. We're X-Men, but not in the good way, not like the comic book characters. We're really crappy versions of X-Men. We're X-Men in the opposite way. We're all broken down and pathetic copies of Adam, basically. Biologically speaking, cognitively speaking, and this is, of course, the inversion of what we're taught. We're taught that our ancient ancestors, our primordial ancestors, were apish, that they were cavemen, stupid cavemen, and that we have been gradually becoming a much more intelligent species. That is not true. We are accumulating over time deleterious mutations. And deleterious means bad, negative, destructive mutations. And it's a snowball effect. The further we get away from Adam, the more we are mutated. We're still humans, obviously. We're just really, really, really crappy humans. So our cerebral capacity, our physical fitness has been declining for thousands of years.
Creatures.
And it's reaching a critical mass moment in which. My name is Timothy Albrino, and you are watching End Times Productions.
I'm going to leave a link on this, but I just want you to know that if you pay rent, then you stand as an abomination yourself, because you know that you've been removed from your homes in the 1830s by the treaty. The by them coming over here and invading our country. We were never slaves, and we were never they told us we were slaves. Charles Darwin was all about him being upset that he found out he was a creature. Then he labeled us as a creature because he found out he was a creature. So when that Charles Darwin, where he was made from a rhesus monkey, he was mutated, and he in your bloodline, Paul Revere. They were coming to kill Paul Revere's bloodline because they were creatures, and they had to been contained, because when they came here in shackles and chains. Every white person that came here, most of them in 1776 came here in shackles and chains because they were walking and crawling on all fours. Elon Musk is saying that they need an upgrade. That he's trying to get them an upgrade, but we are the upgrade that will have where we'll just have our natural powers just come naturally when you just stop paying rent and understand. It's like, dang, this is my land. I have my power. See, now you say, well, it can't. If I stop paying rent, yeah, you have to, because the shares are creatures. You have to combat the creatures because you're an abomination if you don't. I mean, what are you doing? Why would you pay rent to a creature and you know it? So if someone was telling you to get the women together to say, we're gonna have to stop paying utilities and stuff. If someone was saying that to you and you were seeing those videos, let's just say RH, if he was saying that, then shame on you, woman, for not listening to him. Shame on you. If he's telling you to stop paying, then you have to stop paying, because we're the one that's applying for housing. We're applying for housing. If we're applying for housing, then we have to shut it down on that rent shit. And we have to own our land. We own this home. So if you're in a home, you own that. If you're in an apartment building, you own that apartment building. I own 640 acres where I'm at. I own this apartment building. This is why they ran out of the mayor's office and they're not in there no more. Because I had let them know that if you bring your sheriffs over here, publicly I have to murder him in public, because you people are creatures and you have to get down on your level. You have to get down on your level, because who are you to try to evict me out of my home when I'm trying to bid for some land right here to stop the homelessness that you created because you're creatures. You see what I'm saying?
One of the things that we need to comprehend when thinking about the purpose of mankind and the condition of mankind is the fact that we have degenerated from the original
Ugh.
prototype, the original human prototype, and that was Adam. Adam is our progenitor, and Adam was created perfectly. And when I say perfectly, I mean that his genetic architecture was impeccable.
Okay, he's talking about us. The first man and woman, well, no, the first woman, us, who created the man was us first. Then a mutation came. So a mutation came about, another completely different entity, race that is not of us, came about and created. Well, let's make man in her image. You see what I'm saying? Copying. Because what you mean, let's make man in our image? What image? You had to get some image. If you didn't have an image, if you crawling on all fours, you had to have an image. What image that would have been our image? And what we do is we create men. You know, we give birth to men and women. That's what we do. So you would have to copy of what we look like. That's why you got 2 arms and 2 legs and 2 hands, but inside your body, it's a mutated cloned creature.
There was not a single error in his genetic code. He was exactly and precisely crafted to be human. And that means that he was human without defect. And that, to me, is a very profound statement. What does it mean to be human without any defects whatsoever? Because all of us are mutants. We are all degenerate human beings. And I mean degenerate in the genetic sense. We have degenerated from Adam. Essentially, we have been and are devolving from the original prototype of our species. So the further we go back in time, the more genetically pure the human stock is. So that means that the generations that were close to Adam in the pre-flood world were more human than we are today. And were less degenerated, were less evolved than we are. They were much more magnificent. Biologically speaking, cognitively speaking, they were more intelligent than we are. And this is, of course, the inversion of what we're taught. We're taught that our ancient ancestors, our primordial ancestors, were apish, that they were cavemen, stupid cavemen, and that we have been gradually becoming a much more intelligent species. That is not true. We have gradually becoming a less intelligent species, a less physically robust species. Indeed, our lifespans, if it were not for technology, our lifespans would be plummeting, not rising, but falling because of genetic degeneration. Indeed, the human species will soon become reproductively inviolable. And we know this now because of 2 reasons. Number one, because sperm counts are falling precipitously and have been falling for the last 50 years in the West and all over the world. And there's new studies that have come out in the last couple of years.
So they don't have a sperm count no more. They don't have a sperm count because they're mutated over and over and over again. I'll leave you a link of Bobby Hemmett speaking about black people was also mutated, and they were, well, not mutated, but they were made into clones in Atlanta, and then they went underground. But there was a lot of clones that was being made. That's why you see a lot of haters of what I'm saying. They would like, oh, well, you're not saying it right because you're a clone. Okay, so well, I'm not saying like that one. He's not a clone. I'm saying other people would say something like, well, I'm gonna pay my rent because I don't care. I'm gonna be paying my rent. I don't want to be getting into it with them. Because you're a clone. You have to stop paying rent to make a stand for yourself so you can stop suffering, and so we can stop, all of us can stop suffering, because you're fueling the fire to a creature that's not human. He's telling you that white people are not human. They're not human. So if they're not human, you can see as a result that they're not human. Look what happened to us. When they came here, they hung us on trees, and we're the original root race. We're the God race. So their whole being is about killing us. That means that's why you're paying rent on your own land. So if you say, well, I don't want to pay, I'm gonna keep paying rent, and I'm just gonna look at RH videos as entertainment, then you're a clone. If you're looking at, I don't want to mention his name, but if you're looking at RH video as for entertainment, when he was saying to do what really basically stop paying rent, or he didn't say stop paying rent, of course, but he was just saying to because we are the ones that have this housing. We apply for housing. We have to stop this shit. We got to stop paying for it and own it. You got to own your land, own your brick and mortar. And don't worry about an eviction. Just go through that shit. Because look, I stopped paying rent in 2019 when Trump said stop paying rent. When the COVID thing hit, Fauci was on stage for 2 months and them saying stop paying rent, don't pay rent no more. So I called my brother. I said, oh, you can't pay rent no more. Why? The COVID thing. You can't pay rent. Shit. So I just stopped. So when they try to give you an eviction notice, they know they can't evict you. Because for one, reparations have been called around out on every state for this very reason. We are indigenous to the land, and it's an abomination for a creature to tell you to pay rent.
Which population geneticists have been raising the alarm, saying the human species is not going to be able to reproduce because the sperm counts are going to zero by 2045. So that's one problem. The second problem is that our genomes have degenerated to such a degree that we are all mutants at this point. We're X-Men, but not in the good way, not like the comic book characters. We're really crappy versions of X-Men. We're X-Men in the opposite way. We're all broken down and pathetic copies of Adam, basically. There's something called mutational load in population genetics. And a mutational load references the amount of genetic mutations that are passing down through one generation to another. So in other words, we have a lot more hereditary genetic defects than did our ancestors generations into the past.
Okay, but see, even that's wrong. He was always a genetic. If you were made as a something else other than God, other than us, then that's what. Then you something else. You're not the original. So you were never the original. You were made as a Terminator to us. That's where the movie Terminator came in. A human flesh over metal skeleton, right? That's what yeah. So Elon Musk is saying, well, we're going to have a human flesh over metal skeleton. No, you're not. You finna be contained. Because and he's in here. Elon Musk is in here showing himself as a mutated. Right here, I'll leave a link. You can see it.
That's called a mutational load. We are accumulating over time deleterious mutations. And deleterious means bad, negative, destructive mutations. And it's a snowball effect. The further we get away from Adam, the more we are mutated. We're still humans, obviously. We're just really, really, really crappy humans.
You're not a human if you're not made as a human. So he's just wanna have some sort of comfort for himself to make it look like, well, I'm a little bit human. No, you were never human, because you can't be human coming over to another country and invading the original people here. You just showed yourself that you're not human based on you saying that, well, every man is created equal. You're not equal to me if you came over here trying to kill me and killed me. So you're not equal. You came here crawling on all fours, trying to be equal, trying to be like the Most High. So that's what's in the Bible, because it says, I will exalt myself and I will be like the Most High. What you mean you'll be like? That means you're not.
So our cerebral capacity, our physical fitness has been declining for thousands of years. Mm-hmm. And it's reaching a critical mass moment in which our genome is so corrupted, we are so genetically degenerate, we have so much mutational load at this point, the human species at large, that it's becoming that we're seeing an explosion of genetic diseases.
Genetic diseases is 7 billion people, right? That's not human. That's why the depopulation is happening. the railroad trains things, they're setting it up over here in Northern California where Gavin Newsom is at, and he was supposed to do what I say. Give the money to BLM because, you know, you're a mutated creature. You better do what I say, and give the money to BLM land management so that we can, so that every woman can claim their land rights, you know, by the BLM, where we will be able to transform our community the way that we were supposed to, right? But since he's delaying, like I said, creatures do what creatures do. If I've been making videos and sending it to him, and he still is still stalling with it. You see what I'm saying? Like, he don't know what to do. He didn't contact me because you're a creature. Creature is what a creature do. If you know that the person is right, you have to contact me, Gavin Newsom, and get this creature out of the mayor's office, because that's my office. The city mayor in Chino is my office. You have to get the creature out. This is what he's saying. He's telling you that you guys are creatures and that you must be contained. This is what this whole video is about. He's a doctor. He's a scientist. And there's no, not thousands. There's hundreds of him like him that's saying, my God, we are creatures. And we have to get a hold of ourselves or there'll be no one left. This is what he's trying to tell you white people, that you have to step aside and can get contained, really. Get contained, get somewhere, but you have to give it over to the rightful person, and that's me. That's me, because I'm the only one saying for our people to stop paying rent, because it's an abomination for us to be paying rent to a damn preacher.
Accumulation of deleterious mutations in our genome is leading to an explosion of genetic diseases, most notably cancer. Cancer is fundamentally the result of a mutation in a gene. When our genes mutate, certain genes mutate, we get certain kinds of cancer. And that's why certain kinds of cancer are hereditary.
Ooh.
They're being passed on through.
Oh, now the thing done went off. Okay, so it's going to reprogram itself. I don't know. Okay, so let me get off this video. I just want to show that. I'll leave a link. Okay.